All right, welcome everyone. We are going to do a part 2 of our competition chat. We're going to do a crash course today and talk about how to get your image uploaded to printcompetition.com, kind of the nuts and bolts of creating a presentation that is appealing to judges, and any other questions that people have about print competition, or I guess just image competition. We call it print because that's what it used to be. And I want to welcome you, and those of you who are watching the recording, thank you for coming. So let's start out with maybe some little nuts and bolts kind of thing here. I'm going to show you I'm going to get my screen up here. Okay. Got my screen here. All right. Looks like we had another person enter, so that's great. All right. So this is printcompetition.com. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see this a little bit better. This is the platform that we use to run the competition, and most state affiliates use this, correct? Javon or Brad, if you know, most state
almost all the state affiliates, and even some like non-affiliates use it.
Yeah. So
like ASP, and
okay,
they're scrolling on the top. That's all the
these are all
different
the organizations.
organizations.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure, that's enough.
So anyway, it tells you the upcoming events. And are we on the front page yet? 9 more. Log on to see them all. Okay. Well, you just create. So if you have not ever created your account, you go to new artist registration. You put in your email, a password, and then you choose GPPA as your, here it is, as your organization, and then hit register, and then you'll have an account. So I already have an account. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Don't worry, this is not my real address. I've since moved, so it's okay to, I guess, for this public. So anyway, I have not yet uploaded images, but we're going to show you how to do that today. So here's our competition. And I'm going to select that. And then you just put, what you are. So I'm a member. I have entered it before. I've earned a degree. And then we do create new image entry. So this is where you'll put the image title. These are the categories. And then Javon, can you talk a little bit about the categories, how they've changed?
Well, the big thing was we wanted to separate out a couple things that we felt needed to be separated out. So with landscape and scenic, wildlife now has its own category, and then landscape and scenic are in their own little category. Then if you were to go down, we added 2 more categories to weddings. So weddings now has weddings general, weddings brides, and weddings grooms. And the idea behind that was just because, I mean, we used to do those, and with the start, and we're technically, I guess, a little behind on the curve, but with the wedding degree, we kind of felt like especially if we were gonna have a best in show, because best in shows come from the different categories like illustrative, portrait, weddings. We needed more than one category for the wedding, because that meant whoever won first place in the wedding category just automatically would win best in show. This way, whoever wins and first in brides, first in general, first in grooms, then they go in for the running to win best in show. Kind of makes a little more sense. But the other categories are pretty much the same. You know, you still got for portraits, you still got the general, you got child, you got seniors and teens and pets and animals. And now, like I said before, wildlife is under illustrative. You've got sports and photojournalism. We've separated those categories because I believe that they are, for the most part, two separate things. I mean, I know that there's a lot of photojournalism in sports, but like I said before, I just felt like those needed to be divided out. And then rounding out illustrative, you've got fine art and digital painting, and then commercial.
Can you talk about what's different between what the artist competition and entry is for that one? That category. Can you talk about that category a little bit?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Is that the one where you can do like extra artwork on it? So maybe if you're making it more like an oil painting, or if you're doing composites, is that where that one goes?
I would like to say that. I don't know. For some reason, that one has kind of slipped my mind, and I should know this.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you.
Come back to me. Give me just a minute. My brain has not been firing on all cylinders today, so just bear with me.
All right, and so the rules say, as far as the image title goes, you know, you need to put the title with underscores for spaces, and you do not include your name in the title. So that's really important. If you want to critique, then we do yes on the image. Also, and then to create new entry. Oh, I've got to actually do it. But it talked to us a little bit about what we're doing different this year, as far as not doing individual cases, but just doing individual images.
Okay, well, look, let me return to the first the first question about artists.
Okay, all right.
So,
You're
yeah,
fast.
Artist is the like the digital manipulation, any image that is altered or manipulated from its original condition. They can be very slight using post-processing I told you my brain's not firing today. Using post-processing techniques, digital painting, dramatic combination of details to build the story. But the artist itself is responsible for the idea behind the image and the work done to create the finished art piece. They can be creative, they can be restoration. And any of the entries that are in the artist category need guide images for parts of the image that were combined, or maybe even that you didn't take the picture. If like, so for instance, like the restoration, you would have a guide image at the bottom that would show the image in its original state, and then the restoration would be the actual image itself. And those need to be submitted onto the digital canvas that goes into the image competition.
Okay.
All right, there's artist. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
that's a little more complicated, and I don't know that we'll be doing an example of that one, but it's good to go over that one.
artist is tough. I wish, see, if I were at the studio, I've got an example of an artist image. But if anyone is familiar with, like, you know, we could go to Woody Walter's site, because it'd be easy enough to share his site, and that would give them an idea of like what you're looking at. But
I'll pull it up and bring it over.
So Woody Walters is like one of the first people that jump in my mind. Brad, have you ever done an artist image?
Yeah, I've done some artist images, composites. So if you Woody Walters comes up, but if you think about it, Joel Grimes would be another person that does composites, because he's often shooting his subjects and his backgrounds separately and combining them in post-processing and trying to make them not look like a composite, but they are an artist piece.
Yeah, artist images are challenging because you've got to make sure that when you're combining all these little details, that they all make sense in the image, so that you don't want lighting going in different directions. Yeah, so that's a very simple one from him.
Yeah.
He does have some much more complicated images. But that'd give you an idea of like, that's really old. They give you an idea of what an artist image would look like for him, but they don't always have to be this in depth, because like what Brad's talking about, what Joel does, they're very simple and they look like he would have actually been in that location shooting it, because Joel pays that much attention to detail.
So, I mean, you can actually go to my archives on here if you want, Marche, and I can point out a
Yeah, that's
couple of
what I was
the.
hoping for, was that you had one that you could show us with the guide images.
Yep. So
I'm not logged into the admin account, so I can't.
no, you can just search. Like you can.
Oh, okay.
So
All
yep.
right.
So
I'm
go
gonna learn
to,
some things here.
Yeah. So log on.
I'm
You're not logged in.
Okay.
Yeah.
This thing and printcompetition.com will log you off within seconds.
Okay, that's
All right.
good to know.
So it should be under archives.
Look at that. This is so cool. I'm learning something new. Okay. Oh, I'm not premium.
Oh, okay. So
Oh.
let me share my screen. I'll go to it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let me see. Can you share your screen? Let me double check.
Yep.
You should be able to share.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's go to here. Let's go back up here. Go to
A lot of stuff on
archives.
your desktop.
Yep, I got tons. So we're going to search. So I like doing this, right? So we're going to look at 2022. Actually, let's look at all years. We're going to go by makers. So I'm going to type in Bud, pull up my name, scores that let's not show my bad work. Let's just show stuff that merited. By
why not
score.
show it all? I mean, hey.
Not that just because it didn't merit doesn't mean it's bad.
Oh, look,
Yeah,
he did it
so-
all for you, girl.
All right. So, and then I can select GPPA. So I could remove the name so I could see all things that are 90 that scored in GPPA. All right. So, but let's hit go. All right. So this is going to pull up all my images that I've submitted for GPPA all years. And I've organized it by top score. So right off the bat, this one is a composite. So this is a background that was shot, that was in a separate model that was shot and was put in for there.
Now you entered that in portrait, right?
I did enter that in portrait. Yep.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily like what you would think of as an artist image, although it is a composite. And the fact that Brad, since he shot both of those things, he doesn't need to have the guide images.
Yep.
For that image.
Let's see another.
There's
This
one.
would
Oh,
also.
there's one with the guide image.
Oh, I remember when that one came through.
Yeah, that was another technical composite. Let's see. We got one with a guide image.
Yep,
Oh yeah.
it's
So
up there next
this one scored a 79. So these are images that. So well, I actually shot the picture of the gas station, but yeah. So and then I got a stock image of a vehicle to be put into it. So yeah. So this would be what you would consider your typical composite, where you're sometimes not using pieces that you photographed, and when you do that, you have to show what you used. See if there's any other composites. No, pretty much everything else is just true
And
photography.
Doc.
Yeah, and so this was last year. So the other one didn't do well. Well, actually, it did well. It didn't do well in PPA. So I submitted a different one to see how it scored here, which is interesting. This one scored an 87 at state competition, but when it went to PPA, it didn't even merit. This one
Brad
scored.
always finds a way to get the story in somehow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so this one scored an 82 here, but went on to be an Imaging Excellence Award. So yeah. Let's see. I think, yeah. So this would probably technically be a composite too. but I shot all the images, so I didn't put guide images. But yeah, so that can be, and so it's interesting. And let's do this actually. Let's go to search. Let's get rid of my name. Let's go to all makers. And let's see, let's do scores. Let's do 80 plus GPPA. Let's do 22, 21, 20. Yeah, so last 3 years, hit go. And so now this is going to bring up all the images that have been shot for the GPPA in the last 3 years. And yeah, so like if we were to look at this one right here, that's a composite. Let's see what else we got. So here's one with guide images.
Yeah, what Brad is doing, he's able to do this because he is a premium member. A premium member with printcompetition.com basically means you pay, oh gosh, what is it, $49 every 3 months?
Yeah, something like that.
No,
No, it's less than that.
yeah,
It's like
it's
13.
I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
nine every 4 months or something like that.
It's gonna vary depending on the year. I think I looked it up and it's
If-
13. There we go, 13 per
Yeah,
year
or
or
se-
17 per quarter.
Yeah,
or
that's
six
one
or
up a little bit.
Serious about competition, it's a good thing to have. I let mine continue all year long, every year. Especially if you are entering multiple state affiliate competitions, or you can go back and look at past scores, you can go back and look at past images. You can, and one of the biggest things for me is you can hear when the judges challenged your image. And
Yeah, let's do
listen
that.
to them talk about the image itself,
Oh,
but you can
really?
only do that as a premium member.
Yeah, so let's do this. I think I got a couple on mine that I know for sure that
Definitely got a few on mine.
have let's go. Let's see. So I know this is one that was discussed, and tell me if you guys can hear this.
You can only do it if you allow audio through sharing, so you probably won't be able to hear it, folks. But there's a
Let's see.
So is that true for all of them? So no, because I have a premium account, so I could go back to mine, and if there was one that was challenged, I could go back and listen to it.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Share computer sound.
I didn't realize I could do that.
Yeah, I do that when I was getting ready to submit my case for the last few images I needed for master photographer. I would go back and continually listen to the feedback I was getting from the different state affiliates every time if an image was challenged, or if depending on some competitions they talk about each image. That was always on there, and I could go back and listen to it and go, okay, yeah, that's right, that's what they said.
So I want to see if
Oh.
this actually worked. I set it to share audio.
84?
Yeah.
Challenge.
Jim.
I'm at 85 with this. What a great capture.
Somebody send Michelle Percival the link. She is trying to get in, can't get in.
This is. The impact just held me straight into the image at all. I was drawn straight up into, and then I got to his expression. That was the whole. I am just glued into this image, and I love how this cloud is just completely framing him in there. So that's where I'm at.
I was at 84 for all of those reasons. The things that kept me back from going to a higher category, he seemed very warm to me for the background that he was on. And when I got up close, there seems to be a lack of overall tack sharpness for it. And I felt like for this kind of image, I really needed him to be sharp, and I struggled to see that when I got close.
to me.
I gave it an 83. The sharpness it's close to being tack sharp for me. There's going to be movement, and with this kind of thing, these things happen so quick. I'm taking it for granted that it was shot with that background like that and not dropped in. The biggest thing I have a problem with, why I didn't go higher than that, is the burning. The clouds start getting muddy, and in the upper right-hand corner, it got really muddy up there, and that doesn't match the rest of the image.
I'm at 86.
Love the image. If he's up in the air and you're taking, and that's where he is, you're taking this image with, 200 maybe lens. It's going to be sharp, but with the movement, I see nothing out of focus. So the whole thing's in focus, and the warmth of it is there because the man's warm. He's hot. He's been riding the bicycle. He's going to have a warm look. So the background being the sky, it's always going to be cool in the sky, and he's going to be warm. So that goes without saying.
I think that's good. 81 for the positives that have been stated. I keep looking closely at the way that gravity is working with his clothing and with his hair, and because I'm having trouble believing that it's happening. You know what I mean? I'm having trouble believing that he's not been dropped in and just been totally put in sideways, horizontal. It's just, I don't know that the way that the movement of his body and his clothing makes sense for the position that he is in the sky. But that's where I'm struggling.
Rebuttal.
So regarding if he's dropped in here or not, I'm looking at the helmet and then I see this flip of his shirt. Well, if you're upside down, that's actually going to happen. And I can also read the same scenario going on the shoulder, where that's flipping up as well. So I that was very believable, and I looked really close at it. To me, that's very acceptable sharpness that I see on there, and that's one thing was definitely keeping me in that category. Regarding the burning and everything, I'm contributing that to the clouds up there. I think the maker just did a fabulous capture here. It's somewhat humorous here, and I want to reward them for that. So,
Okay, let's see what happens.
What was your score?
85, sorry.
85 it is.
Yes.
So that's the great thing about having the premium membership for this is you can go back and every image that you have that had any discussion on it from our state competition, it's still there. And I even utilize this, and Javon said it's funny, I'm bringing up the story. I utilize this to go back and record a discussion that was made about my image, and then the judge then gave me some advice on it. And then when it went to PPA, that same judge then talked it down and completely reversed what she said on here. But yeah, and so it's funny, after this, I went to Kira and I said, interesting that you think that this is, this is a composite, because I'm actually laying on top of the tabletop and he's doing a backflip over me. And this is, just me capturing this as he goes by. So this is like probably about 20 millimeters, and he's just doing a backflip over one of those little mobile bicycle ramps. So yeah, that's a really great part for print competition, is be able to go back and look at that. And as if you go through and you see every single one that you have that was discussed, we'll have a little audio thing up here in the right hand corner, and you can go through and see the discussion on the ones that were discussed. I have a lot of things that were discussed.
That's neat.
Yep.
Michelle Percival can't get in.
I don't have a way to let her in unless she actually, I bet she just has a problem with the login. She has to register, and
It's saying that she has to register. What does that mean?
She has to create an account.
If she doesn't have a Zoom account, she needs to
Oh.
make one. It's free.
Under the email that she used to register for the event.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is a new thing they didn't make you do like the last time we did this 2 weeks ago. So we will definitely change the way that our Zoom.
So somebody that doesn't have a premium account, would you like me to go look up and see if there's any audio discussion on any of your images?
Oh, Linda.
I'm looking at mine right now, so
Do you have premium?
yeah, I do have premium.
All right.
Hey,
Marche, did you want me to look at yours?
oh no, I helped moderate the whole thing, so I remember it well.
right.
Let's do this. We're gonna talk about like how to prepare your image for putting a presentation around it and getting it ready to upload. So are you cool with that, guys? Do you want to do that? That sounds good. This is especially good for people who have never entered before. It can be a little bit daunting, right? So unless there's a burning question someone wants to.
Well, this is cool. I found 3 so far that I can go back and listen to. So
That's awesome.
So I will do that at a later time.
That's very cool.
Well, hey guys, dinner's ready over here, so I'm just gonna
Great, I'll see
say
you in a minute.
goodbye.
All right, Brad.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for
Brad,
thanks
thank
for
you.
sharing.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So I know this is like super, super small as far as like the document goes, but just so you know, I'm putting in a width of 4,000, a height of 4,000, and a resolution of 200. This is what Paul Sasso says that he does, so he's a master. So I'm gonna let him be kind of the thing on this. And then I'm just going to pull up an image. This is a stock image. I did not photograph this, but I thought it would be a fun one to put a presentation around. So, all right. Oh, there, Michelle's in.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. Hi, Michelle. Sorry it took you a while to get in here. We're just doing, we're doing it like a demo of how to prepare your image. So I have a 4,000 by 4,000 document, 4,000 by 4,000 pixels. And usually the longest side has to be 4,000. So I just took this stock image and we're going to pretend that we're the creator and we're going to put it in. So I like to kind of like move it around. I will resize it and see where I want it to be. Sometimes if I've resized it and pressed enter, I don't know if it like compresses all those pixels. I might have to pull it in again and get it exactly right. But let's pretend that this is right. What I love about Photoshop is it does have those guidelines that shows you where the middle is. I don't know, how thick should the border be? Guys, should we go a little thicker? Thoughts on this?
Okay, so you're talking about the actual map,
Like around, yeah, around it. So obviously this stuff on the right-hand side, we're gonna cut off. But I'm looking at on the left-hand side. Do we think that that's thick enough or?
So before anyone answers, we need to make sure that we've got the lingo down.
Okay.
And so you've got, guys, I am so sorry. I've got a guy trying to sell me a computer. So the image and then this white area around the image, this is technically the mat of the image. And then the border would be what goes between the image and the mat itself. So just so no one gets confused when we're talking. And personally, I've found the last couple of years that having off-center images on a mat is not scoring as well as it used to. So like Marche said, we're going to get rid of that section so it's not as much blank space or negative space as there used to be. But you see some people do some really creative, interesting things with their mats. I usually keep mine pretty simple.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
Sorry,
go
Martha.
ahead.
Didn't mean to jump in
Yeah,
there.
no, it's fine. So this is what I'm doing is I'm just, I'm gonna just do I'm just gonna go ahead and do my crop here. I will tell you, this is, I don't crop a lot in Photoshop because
See, and
use Lightroom.
I was doing mine a little bit different.
Mm-hmm,
Is I would go to under image,
mm-hmm.
and there's a thing called canvas, and it allows you to like draw outside of the box, outside of it.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. Let me do it this way. This is kind of how I've done it in the past. Okay, come on, crop for me.
So Michelle, how did you eventually get in? Rachel's still having problems too.
Maybe. Oh, there you go, Michelle.
Michelle? Oh. I guess she's not there. Oh. But can you
Yeah.
talk?
Oh, she doesn't have a camera that has a speaker. That's
Yeah.
fine. All right. So why don't we do it Linda's way here? Let me go ahead and get back to this. And Linda, you want to walk us through the way you do it? Just
Okay.
a second. I'm gonna
It
crop
made,
this.
and I just kind of discovered this, or I think I watched somebody do it. So I would go to image
Mm-hmm.
and then canvas size.
Okay.
And then this will allow you to, you can change that to inches or pixels, whichever one you want to work with.
Okay.
And
So-
so if you want to do like your stroke line, like 3 or 4 pixels.
Oh, okay.
So
Got
that
it.
could be your stroke that's around it.
Mm-hmm.
So do 3 and 3, that way it's even.
Okay.
And then just click OK.
Do I have to do an anchor?
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And oh,
I don't know if it's on Canvas. Is it expand image or something like that? Because I think this is, we can try it.
Do it in inches. Oh yeah. Oh, where'd you go?
Yeah, it.
Don't do it my way then. Do some.
There's
Javon,
lots
have
of
you do
different
it.
ways to do it. You can like expand the canvas and but the way I do it is kind of like as if I had a piece of paper and I'm cutting it.
Right.
And then I'm positioning my photo on it and then putting the stroke on it.
I wasn't okay, so I was trying to help Rachel. But I think it's good to know different ways of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone has their own way of resizing it. But honestly, I feel like mine has gotten pretty simple.
Okay.
I generally stay pretty simple with mine. And I mean, once Marche is done, I could walk you through the kind of way I do it.
So I'll just show you the way I finish up. So like once I've got my person positioned and it looks to me like I'm going to have to crop a little bit of this image, or I'm going to have to change it because it's not quite. Let's pretend all the borders are even. That not quite. I would change the color of my background to, I mean, white is really pretty, but I want to see what black will look like. So I'll just pull a black from that background. And then I probably should have put the stroke on first, but I'm going to pull in my stroke. I'm not going to do red. Oh, although some people would really like that, but I'm going to maybe do it at like 3. 3 is good. And then I'm going to do like a, maybe not bright white, but something like that. Why is it not letting me do it? Okay. So I do it pretty simply like that. Javon, you want to take over and do it and show how you do yours?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me get out of So I was trying to run troubleshooting while Marche was doing that. All right, share my screen. And I have no idea what is going to be in my, can everybody see my screen?
I see it.
Awesome. Okay, good. All right, so I've got Photoshop already is up and running. So I have images in my folders already, that stuff that I've used. And what I'll do is I'll just grab a just an image. Looks like some of these I've already worked on. Let's try and grab one that we haven't. Actually, I just did this one, so we can grab this one. All right, so this is a wedding image. I had to pull this one. This was actually a very old image. It's the very first wedding I ever shot in Paris. And what I do is, like, when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my image, I try and think, okay, how would I want to make it look? And I think I've gotten this pretty down to where it's going to be the same almost every time. So what I do is, instead of like I just come in here and I guess I'm old school. I picked the 16 by 20 because that's how the prints used to be. And I grab this 16 by 20 and then I take my image and I'm going to drag it on top of it. And there we go. So that's it. So then I'm just going to resize my image. A lot of time by this point, I'll have already done the necessary cropping or editing to my image so that it's not going to be, in fact, I probably extend that out just a little bit more. There's not much more editing I need to do other than just the final touches. All right, so this looks terrible. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna minimize you guys. I'm gonna take my background, and generally I will try and find an area in the image that will help complement the image, but without overwhelming the image. I try not to make my backgrounds too crazy, too much texture, anything like that. I'll just try and find something that, ooh, that's too dark. That is in a similar color tone to, well, that could be why. Let's try. Well, now I've gotten rid of it. I don't know how I did that. This is what happened to me today in my proofing session. It was like, no matter what could go wrong, it was going wrong. Let's try that. Okay, so that's better. Yeah, I said this was fast, didn't I? Oh, let's see. Bring that up a little bit. I think that's going to be where I want it. And yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, so I just pulled an image, or pulled a color that was in my image that was one of the darker parts of my image, but still held on to its tones. And then that's going to be my background. And this is now what I would do is then work on the actual size of the canvas of the mat itself. Easiest way I found to do that is just to come in here to canvas size and shave off a couple inches. And then that makes it a lot closer to being even on each side, which seems to be what they're getting into now. They don't like those off-center mats. And if I'm going too fast, just let me know. So we've now created the mat. We have dragged the picture on top of it. We have resized the mat. The next thing I'm going to do is add my border. I double click the layer, come over here to stroke. And this is very similar to the way I kind of picked out the image or the color for, I told you guys, sorry, my brain, the color for the mat itself. I'm just gonna select different areas of the image. See, I like this one. I select different areas of the image until I find a color that once again, it's not gonna be too bright. I want his face to be the brightest part of the image. And so, oh, you know what? Let's go back. So I was in stroke. Now we talked about stroke size. Now I also, if you look at this under size, right now I'm at 16 pixels. It's a little different because this image is so old, but usually I'm somewhere around like the 10 pixel range. I just want to make sure that that stroke is not overbearing. Position, I do the inside because the outside tends to give that stroke border rounded corners, and I don't like that. So I do inside, and I get those nice sharp corners. And then opacity, I always keep it 100%. And then of course, how I was doing this was by clicking the color and then clicking in different areas around the image to get that color tone that I wanted, that I felt would help enhance the image, because that's what it's all about. And there's your image. Now, I'm curious because I've already worked on this image before, and I want to see how close I really got to what I did the last time. Let's see, that was submission 3, image 1. Okay, so it was a lot different. So this is how it ended up when I submitted it to MIR. So yeah.
And that mat or that presentation is required, right?
Well, no, it's not required, but you'll find that the you're going to find that the image isn't going to score as well without it, unless it's a super, super strong image. But like they'll have, because they're grading on, they're still, even though it's Merit Image Review and even though it's our image competition, they're still grading off of those 12 elements. And one of them is impact, one of them is creativity. You've got these things that you kind of like, you check the list of the boxes of when you're making your image, and if your boxes aren't checked, it's going to hurt the image. You can have a beautiful image and submit it without a presentation, and the judges are immediately going to think badly of it because you didn't bother to take the time to enhance the image and make it look better.
Hey,
I will apologize for being so scattered.
That's okay. Artists get a carte blanche for being scattered, right? Hey, one last thing before we end, because we are almost at the end of our time here. We didn't talk about how we're not doing cases this year. Can you talk about that really quick?
Yeah. All right. So entry this year is a little different. We are not doing cases the way they were done in the past. In the past, you would submit up to 8 images in your case, and that would be your case of images. This year, we're actually doing it by the entry. So you only have to pay for the images you want to enter, instead of like that flat fee for all 8 images. And then some people are like, well, I don't have 8 images. So, gosh, I mean, what's the point of entering if I don't have all 8? I'm just kind of throwing away money. This year, the benefit is you only pay for the images you have. And so you're able to submit 1, you're able to submit 5, you're able to submit 8 if you want to, but no more than 8. We don't want to be there all day. Well, I mean, we'll be there all day, but we don't want to. Jury process can be hard. It's exhausting. And it's exhausting for us on the back end of it when we're running everything. But I mean, we do want as many images as we can get. But we want to make it easier for people that only might have 2 or 3 pictures and feel like, well, what's the point if I only have 2 or 3? If I'm still paying $8,500 for an entire case, that just seems like a waste of money. This way you can actually submit 1 to 3 images or 8 images, and you're only paying for what you're submitting.
Yeah, and the prices are, I believe, what, $15 an image for members?
Yep, $15 an image for members and $20 if you're a non.
Very good. Do we have any other questions before we end out our discussion today? All right. Well, I will be putting this recording up on our YouTube channel. If you missed our last recording 2 weeks ago, that is also on the YouTube channel. And so I will post that on the Facebook page as well.
Everybody zoned out when I was doing my
All right.
No,
so-
no, I'm still here. I just wanted to eat something and I didn't want you guys to see me eating.
Man, I want to eat something.